So this Wonder Week is called Halloween Tricks and Spells, and it's a funder sponsored Wonder Week, and our funder for the week is BASF. Okay, and they're the largest chemical company in the world, right? So when we do the kids labs during the summer, they're the same company that sponsors those kids labs. Okay, so the center activity is a very, very shorter version of one of the labs that we teach during the summer called Polymer slime. Okay, we've also chosen the green slime because Saturday, of course, is Ghostbusters Day, so it'll align pretty well with that. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna kind of dive right in because there's quite a lot to say here. Before we actually get into the business of making the slime, we want to, if we're able to, if the kid is not 5, if the kid is able to kind of come up to the counter and have a conversation with you about science, I want you to try as often as possible to link or to insert kind of the information that I'm about to talk about right now, which is the science behind how the slime works. Okay, why do we get slime when we mix 2 liquids together? Okay, all right, so I'm going to tell you what you need to know, okay, and then we'll talk about some facilitation strategies, okay? All right, so what I have in my hand is a model of a chemical called a polymer, okay? And basically all that means is that it's a chain of the same molecule that's linked together and repeats over and over like a chain. That's all that a polymer is, okay? Polymer doesn't necessarily mean plastic, okay? So your DNA is a polymer, carbohydrates are polymers, okay? Proteins are polymers, okay? Things like that, all right? So this is a polymer, okay? And I've got another one here. This is a polymer, okay? So for the purposes of this experiment, the polymers represent the glue solution that we're gonna be using, okay? So in this beaker, we've got some green goop here, and all it is a mixture of polyvinyl alcohol, which is just glue, okay? Just think Elmer's glue. That's all it is. And water, just 50-50, water and glue. That's it, okay? And some food coloring, okay? So this is our polymer in the experiment. This is represented by this. Still with me? Okay, all right. When we mix together our second chemical, okay, which is a borax solution, we're going to get something called cross-linkage with these polymers. Okay, so let's say that we've got 2 polymers here. This is the glue solution, and then we add something called borax. Okay, borax is a mineral salt. Hang on one second, and then I'll let you ask. Okay, the borax is going to kind of come in. Of course, this is, from a nanoscopic level here, and it's going to just kind of link the 2 polymer chains together. Okay, so this would be something that even little kids can kind of help you do on the table. Okay, you don't have to go through all the little cross-linkage pieces just till they get the idea of what's happening. Okay, so at the end, instead of getting all of these loose strains of the polymer glue like this, we're gonna get something that's kind of cross-linked in a matrix. Okay, and that chemical, okay, that new compound that's formed from those new bonds, that's going to be a solid. That's going to be the slime. Okay, does that help a little bit? Is that somewhat clear? Yeah. Okay. What was your question?
So is the glue? Is it making the polymer chain? Is that what the glue is for? The polymer glue?
The glue. So the PPA, the chemical in the glue, that is the polymer.
Oh, that is the polymer.
That is the polymer. Okay. So it's a lot of little identical molecules just hooked together over and over again in chains.
Oh, and that's what that is showing.
Yeah. So
okay.
so like the colorful string, that's the glue, and you can even have them count like how many pieces, if you want to call them monomers, mono 1, poly many, right? So how many monomers in this polymer? So there's 1, 2, 3. There's 6 in each polymer strand. Okay. In our example. Okay. The glue has many more. Okay. So this is a model to help us understand what's going on in the reaction. Cool. Okay. After they're done, remember to take the pipe cleaners off so you can undo it every time and kind of use that to help you kind of facilitate in that way. Okay. All right. So once they understand that, you can kind of dive right into the glue. If they need just kind of a shorter version or explanation, you can use this. This is super, super, super basic, okay? So we've got our long squiggly strands of the polymer glue there. And then we've got these little blue lines which represent the borax chemical that are going to go in and bond to the polymer and kind of cross-link it into that solid matrix, okay? So you've got 2 facilitation aids here that you can use, okay? So know your audience, kind of work with the kid. It's not absolute that you need to use both or either, but they're there if you need them, and please try to use them as often as you can use them, okay? Cool? Okay, so now for the making of the slime, actually, okay? So in this beaker, I've got 5 tablespoons of the glue, okay? And in this beaker, I've got 10 milliliters of the borax, okay? This will be written down in many notes in various places. It's on the table toppers, it's gonna be over there, and when I talk about that over there, okay, I'll add signs over there. But that's kind of what you're working with. You don't want all of the beakers of slime on the table, just as many kids as are in front of you, okay? Okay, the trick is that these are both liquids, and when there's liquids around, people want gloves on their hands, okay? These liquids are not supposed to come into contact with their hands, so to speak. And what's more, if we were to use the latex gloves, this would get really messy really fast, because the slime adheres to the latex gloves and you can't get it off, okay? So for those reasons, instead of using the vinyl or the latex gloves, we're just gonna go with the little cotton gloves that we used for the planting activity, okay? And that's just to kind of protect their hands in case the borax maybe splashes in like a little paper cut or something and stings a little, okay? It's not because they're really using anything dangerous here, okay? Okay, all right, so what the kiddo is gonna do with your help, okay, if you need to hold this or pour this while they stir, that's fine. If you wanna stir while they pour, kind of let them lead the way, okay? They're gonna sort of just kind of very, very slowly kind of trickle in while they're continuing to stir the glue solution here. Okay, and as you can already see, that cross linkage is happening very slowly, okay? Once you get it all dumped in there, okay, then you're gonna kind of vigorously stir like that. And you wanna make sure that you keep on going, keep on going, keep on going until all of the moisture is sort of absorbed, okay? Those are way too small. You guys have bigger ones in the cabinet. All right, like so, okay? In the event, because we measured all of these by hand, right, and we're not robots, in the event that you end up with a little bit of extra moisture in there, something that you can do is just kind of grab an extra beaker of borax and just kind of keep adding a few drops until all of it's used up, okay? Please don't go crazy with the borax, okay, because that'll make it super, super, super dry and not pliable. But it's definitely okay to kind of get it to where it's mostly dry. Okay, what could we be doing while they're stirring?
Explaining the polymer.
Yeah, explaining the polymer, asking them review questions from what we just talked about, asking them to even make observations is a good thing. What's happening? What does it look like? Does it have a funny smell? What color is it? You know, don't be afraid to talk to them about all those things. So you see how it's kind of starting to stick to the sides of the beaker like that? As it gets drier and drier, you want to make sure you kind of hit that point before the next step, because it's going to make your life a lot easier with cleanup, okay? So remember when I told you that we're not using gloves? Yes? Yeah? Okay. Oh, you're going to just reach in there and grab it, okay? It's okay for with these guys right here.
Oh.
Could we use
Yeah.
like
Au naturel.
Yeah, could we use the bag so the inside out?
So you could, but what I want you to see is that it's really not as bad as you think. So when you do that and you roll it around like so, and you kind of throw it back and forth, what that does is actually kind of gets rid of all the moisture and works it into the solution until it gets to the consistency of the slime. And at that point, the kiddo, they can be doing this too if they're into it. Okay, we've got wipes for them too, which we'll talk about in a second. Okay, yeah.
Is it a chemical or just a...
It's a chemical reaction. Very good question. Because bonds are being broken and reformed.
So what chemicals in the polymer solution, the borax, allows them to combine together?
So the borax is a chemical called sodium pentachlorate, and so the main active ingredient in there is boron. boric acid and borax are not the same thing.
Oh, what I said.
Okay, no, you didn't say this, I'm just saying because we had a question last year about that, so I'm glad you brought it up. So if there is a visitor that comes up and says, oh, are y'all using boric acid in large quantities, that's very toxic and that is not what we are using, okay? So borax, okay, is a mineral salt that is used as a cleaner, and what happens is I think I put too much in this. I told you it wouldn't be messy, and I did this. Okay, so you got this, and this is what the kiddos are going to be playing with. Okay, if you want to put it in the bag at this point, that's fine. They have to put it in the bag before they leave the counter. Okay? Okay, so you can set it down on the counter, let them play with that. By all means, use these wipes that we have.
Oh, so they can't take it home?
Yes, they can take it home in a bag.
But
Okay.
school tours can't take it home.
School tours, no, yeah, that's a good point. Because we don't have enough for all of them, and you would be here with like 25 beakers going at the same time, and that would be a
For a
mess.
free family night, they can't take them home with them? Or they want to
Free family night, they can, yeah. Now, again, you want to kind of exercise crowd control, right? You've got 10 beakers at your disposal. I would not recommend having 10 kids doing this at one time. The reason you have beakers on the back counter is so, see, it really comes off with just the wipes and the thing. Like, it's not even sticky, okay? And plus, you have access to a soap and sink if you feel so inclined. But I wouldn't recommend washing your hands between everyone because your hands are going to get really dry, okay?
So if we have more than one visitor at the table and we just make that one into one cup, can we split it up into pieces and then give it to them, or just let them take the whole thing?
No, I really want them actually mixing it together themselves and kind of carrying out that reaction themselves. That's a really good question. Okay, so please make sure that each kid that wants slime is participating in the process of making it. Unless they're just shy or something and you can make one while brother or sister makes one and then give it to them. Okay, so then to finish up with the slime, it goes into the bag like so, and then goes home with the kiddo. Cool? Yeah. All right, any questions? No? Okay, so what do I do with the beaker and this now?
Wash it.
Nope, you don't even have to wash it, right? So this is gonna save you guys a lot of headaches. So don't complain about having to wash everything because you don't need to. I didn't mean that to sound that way, but I was trying to save you guys this stuff, okay? You can leave it like this because all you're gonna do is put more glue in it. Okay, so it goes back over here, okay? And then you kind of keep it in rotation. As these get low, you're gonna fill them up and then bring a couple more to the counter over there. Does that make sense? Okay, so you've got a gallon of glue here, and you've got a little beaker of it, so you can just spoon out like the 5 tablespoons, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the borax is here, okay, in this thing. And we've got a little beaker started for you here, and all you're gonna do is pour in 10 mils of that, and then you're already reset for the next thing, and that's it. You don't have to wash anything, okay? Okay. Extra supplies, okay? There are extra gallons of glue in the cabinet. There is a lot of borax, okay? So the glue is always in something that you can see that is green. The borax are in the other things, and they'll have labels on them.
All right, 2 DGs. Can you guys go to the front?
You got extra wipes in here, and you have extra Ziploc bags in here as well, okay? All right. You will also have the recipe in case the glue and the borax run out. It shouldn't because I'm going to be checking it every day and I've made a lot, but just in case, I'll leave the recipe for you and all the tools that you need to remake it, okay? Any questions about that?